Theophile Verbist, the founder of the Congregatio Immaculati Cordis Maria, was born on June the 12th, 1823, in Antwerp, into a large family with 7 children. Theophile had a twin brother named Edmund. French was the mother tongue of the Verbist family, but they also spoke Dutch. The twins, Theophile and Edmund, went to the Jesuit school in Antwerp. Later, they studied at the minor seminary of Mechlin. After secondary school, Edmund studied law and became a lawyer, while Theophile wanted to become a priest. As was the custom in those days, Theophile studied 2 years of philosophy and then went to the major seminary of Mechlin to study theology for 3 years. He was ordained a priest in Mechlin by Cardinal Sterks on September the 18th, 1847. After his priestly ordination, Theophile Verbist was appointed supervisor of the minor seminary of Mechlin, where the students fondly called him Good Mr. Verbist. In August 1853, Theophile Verbist was appointed chaplain at the military school in Brussels and continued this function for about 10 years. He was also assigned as chaplain of the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur. The sisters described him as a man of prayer and believed in his extraordinary kindness. Theophile Verbist came to know the Holy Childhood Association when he visited a sick military school student in 1859. Theophile Verbist learned of the loneliness of this student because his sisters were away working for the Holy Childhood Association. He later registered as a sympathizer of this association that cares for abandoned children in the Far East and many other parts of the world, and helps the mission in China. While serving as the chaplain of the sisters and of the military school in Brussels, Theophile Verbist was appointed in 1860 as the national director of the Holy Childhood in Belgium. He happily accepted this appointment, which matched the missionary vocation and ideals that he had been nurturing for a long time. The annals of the CICM Institute describe as a happy event the news that the doors of China had been opened. An English-French military expedition, referred to as the Second Opium War, resulted in the Tianjin Treaty of 1858, which was ratified by the Beijing Agreement between the Chinese Emperor and the French Emperor on October 25, 1860. This treaty opened the doors of China to missionaries. This news aroused great hopes among missionaries in France and elsewhere. It also stimulated Theophile Verbist's own missionary vocation, which he had been nurturing for a long time. He then mentioned it to Alois van Seckveld, Frans Franks, and Remy Verlinden, and together they approached the church authorities with their project of going to China. Theophile Verbist saw the need to found an orphanage in China. He and his fellow Belgian priests planned to do this mission together. Through strenuous efforts, they overcame numerous obstacles until a Belgian mission in China was finally established. On November 28, 1862, Cardinal Sturks established canonically CICM, the Congregation of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. After consulting the other members, he appointed Theophile Verbist as the Superior General. On November 14, 1863, the Vatican Congregation for the Evangelization of the Peoples, Propaganda Fide, granted the Decree of Praise to the new institute, and so it passed from diocesan right to pontifical right. This decree was renewable, and the institute received the final approval in 1900. Theophile Verbist's missionary journey continued on the continent of Asia. On September 12, 1865, Theophile Verbist was appointed administrator of the Apostolic Vicariate of Mongolia by the Congregation of the Evangelization of the Peoples. Thereafter, Theophile Verbist and his 4 other zealous companions made their final preparations for their mission in China. On December 6th, they arrived in the village of Jiwanzi in the province of Inner Mongolia, north of the Great Wall. They set up a base and began to work immediately on their plans for organizing small Christian communities, attending to an orphanage and a school, and training of seminarians. Since they were few in number, Theophile Verbist would often reflect on the difficulties of the mission whenever he considered the vast tasks ahead of him. With the guidance of the Holy Spirit, Theophile Verbist and his team were able to overcome the obstacles, notwithstanding the harsh terrain, the severe weather, the immense distances to be covered, and the language barrier. They experienced many critical situations, including famine, sickness, accidents, and martyrdom. On February the 23rd, 1868, Father Verbist died of typhoid fever at Langhuhu, China, at the age of 44, just 27 months after arriving in Inner Mongolia. For his tomb to become a privileged place of true apostolic spirit and total gift of self in 1930, Constant Dams, the Superior General, decided to bring back the remains of the founder to Skut, the CICM headquarters at Brussels. His remains were placed in a splendid coffin, Chinese in shape and Oriental in decoration. It arrived at Skut on Sunday, May the 10th, 1931.